Once upon a time, in a quiet village on the edge of a vast, whispering forest, there lived a sweet young girl known to everyone as Little Red Riding Hood. Her real name was Rosalind, but because she always wore a bright crimson cloak with a hood that her grandmother had sewn for her, the nickname suited her so perfectly that she came to be known by it alone. Rosalind lived with her mother in a small cottage surrounded by gardens that bloomed in every color of the rainbow. Her days were spent helping her mother bake bread, gather berries, and care for the hens that clucked cheerfully in the yard. The forest nearby was both beautiful and mysterious, full of sunlight one moment and shadow the next, with ancient trees that seemed to hum softly when the wind passed through their branches. Her grandmother lived deep within that very forest, in a snug little house surrounded by tall pines and fragrant wildflowers. She was kind and wise, known by the villagers for her healing herbs and warm smile. Every week or so, Rosalind would visit her grandmother, bringing fresh bread, honey, and whatever her mother had prepared. One morning, golden sunlight spilled through the window as Rosalind's mother placed a warm loaf of bread and a small pot of butter into a woven basket.
"Your grandmother has been feeling poorly," her mother said. "Take her this basket, my dear. The bread is fresh, and there are sweet cakes she loves so much. But remember, stay on the path. The woods can be tricksy, and not every creature within them is as kind as it seems."
"I promise, Mother," said Little Red Riding Hood with a bright smile, slipping her red cloak around her shoulders. "I'll go straight there and straight back."
Her mother kissed her forehead.
"Good girl, and don't talk to strangers."
So off she went, humming softly to herself as she stepped into the forest. The air was cool and filled with the smell of pine needles and earth after rain. Birds flitted between the trees, and beams of sunlight danced on the moss-covered ground. As she walked, she began to gather a few wildflowers to surprise her grandmother. The path wound deeper into the forest until, quite suddenly, a voice spoke from the shadows.
"Good morning, little one."
"Good morning, Mr. Wolf. I'm going to visit my grandmother and take her some cakes."
"What a thoughtful girl you are. And where does your grandmother live?"
"She lives at the end of this path, in a small cottage with a thatched roof, right beyond the 3 tall fir trees."
"How lovely. But the path you're taking seems dreadfully dull. Why not pick some more flowers for your dear grandmother? I'm sure she would love a bigger bouquet."
"You're right. I'll just pick a few more."
"Farewell, little one."
While Little Red Riding Hood wandered off the path, filling her basket with wildflowers, the wolf raced through the forest, faster than the wind. His paws scarcely made a sound on the mossy ground. He reached the grandmother's cottage in no time at all. He knocked gently at the door.
"Who is it?"
"It is I, your granddaughter, Little Red Riding Hood. I've brought you some bread and cakes."
"Come in, my dear."
The wolf stepped inside, and before the poor old woman could even cry out, he pounced. But since this is a gentler tale, let us simply say he locked her safely in the cupboard and pulled on her nightcap and shawl. Then he snuggled into the bed, drawing the covers up to his snout, and waited. A little while later, Little Red Riding Hood arrived at the cottage, her basket full of treats and flowers. The door was slightly open, and she stepped inside.
"Grandmother, it's me, Little Red Riding Hood."
"Come closer, my dear."
"You sound different today, Grandmother. Are you feeling worse?"
"Oh, I've just a bit of a cold, my dear. Come nearer so I can see you."
As she approached the bed, she noticed something peculiar.
"Grandmother, what big ears you have."
"All the better to hear you with, my child."
"And Grandmother, what big eyes you have."
"All the better to see you with, my dear."
"And Grandmother, what big teeth you have."
"All the better to eat you with."
With that, he leapt from the bed. Little Red Riding Hood screamed and darted backward, dropping her basket. But before the wolf could reach her, the door burst open. It was the village woodsman, who had been passing by and heard the commotion. He raised his axe, not to harm, but to frighten, and shouted, "Away, you villainous beast!" The wolf howled and bolted for the open window, disappearing into the trees. The woodsman quickly unlocked the cupboard, freeing the frightened grandmother, who hugged Rosalind tightly.
"Oh, my dear child, you must never stray from the path again."
I won't, Grandmother. I've learned my lesson.
The woodsman helped them tidy the cottage, and they all sat together for tea. The bread and cakes were shared, and laughter slowly returned to the little home. As sunlight streamed through the window, Little Red Riding Hood looked out toward the forest, now no longer quite so mysterious, but still full of secrets. From that day forward, Little Red Riding Hood always remembered her mother's words.
Be kind, but be wise, and never stray from the path.
The forest remained as vast and magical as ever, but she had learned that even the loveliest of places could hide danger behind a friendly smile. And so, Little Red Riding Hood, her grandmother, and the woodsman lived peacefully ever after. And the wolf, it is said, was never seen near that village again.